this entire church. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our last reader, Kaleem Hawa. Kaleem Hawa is a Palestinian writer and organizer.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to the Poetry Project staff and to Kyle for putting on this evening. I'm really glad and honored to be here. This first poem is called Maintenance. Perched atop a container for the management of surplus, you would be granted a particular vantage. A commons would stretch out before your witness, mass graves and women squatting over dirt. Were you to dissemble it into its constituent parts, you would confront bemused looks, an unknown family putting another up for the night, their Zoom account, their lessons and curricula, and all the words to teach manners and niceties and storytelling. If you were to destroy the receptacle, if you were to raise every little box, tear up the grass, streets teeming new valences of bravery and confusion met by might and sound, a new containment would no doubt be proposed for the neat demarcation of the safe and the desired upon. In Ashati, there are squares for the maintenance of the sun. There are little fires burning, fed by small branches and ripped cardboard used to brew tea and coffee and cook tomatoes. There is wind from the sea, little sheds in the sand. There are faded signs of the international nonprofits, themselves comprising a faction in this great drama, for the declaration of a suspended time, for the declaration of the production line. Most staff have long since packed up, save for the enlistees, snapped and folded into the regulatory matrix and then returned to the camp. Their flip-flops point leftward when they walk. Their base is the provision of goods and services, and their tips are the sweat of men. You hang them from their hands and feet, light their genitals on fire. You give their words after a particular weight, and you do not ask the hangman for his postulates. These images of agony are romantic, but not perfect. The image of subjugation is perfect. In a fallen world, the soul returns to the birthing canal, flocking to amniotic rubrics for dissemination and release. To the suffering, there emerges an incantation to summon the costume rack and the jacket closet, a warm place to hide among the feathers and the furs and the sequins, and to banish the fear. These places can break and be broken, and so too you who cannot know the billowy place, the soft clothes, you who will try to lessen the horror of perfect images. In the same classrooms that teach Gaza, they teach alphabets and numeracies, and the teacher sways from the rafter, strung up by some leftover cloth. From her vantage, an occluded scene of a woman emerging from a jail cell, embracing her husband, almost tripping on herself in joy. Later, she is draped in a Hamas flag. Soon she will be swallowed by the evening, silhouetted by bestial nothing and away from the cameras. From her vantage, a vision for the great reconstruction. Streets will be widened, throats will be widened, the lot will rule the day, new docks will stretch out and out until they tickle the underside of the frigate and the rig. After she is gone, you appear before a square, which today takes the shape of a big box. Covered in blue fabric, its velveteen waves and little white fairy lights shimmer in the smog. Approaching it, you see the tangled wiring, the faded spots, brighter when considered against the grain, like a Persian rug, but thinner, quite ugly up close, tall and imposing. Too high to climb comfortably, but perhaps you could jump. Dig your fingertips into its edges and scramble up, kicking your feet and feeling the warmth of the bulbs on your forearms. Thank you. Okay, the second and last poem I'm going to read is called Transition, and it's written after Jack Spicer. It was very important to me. She ran the bath, a deep basin at her mother's house. Soon her body was submerged in hot water. She stopped the tap, got on her hands and knees. She stared at her face in the reflection of the brass, taking in cheeks, hairline, a nose. Squeezing shampoo into her hands and then into her hair, she lathered, ran her fingers through it all, and then dunked her head under the water. Submerged, she considered all that she had lost. She made a tally, a formal list, check marks and scratches. She focused all her rage into a furious burst of air, gargling bathwater, bubbles collected with energies. When she emerged, she looked at all the suds and islands, the rainbow-colored eddies, the dirtier streaks, little pieces of hair and filth in her pool. And again, she ran her fingers across her scalp. The strands parted as if along neat lines. She let the droplets drop off of her face. Time passed like that, her active pose undisturbed. She must have looked so strange, sopping wet and frozen in thought. She noticed the burns on her thighs. She felt like a witch as herself. She considered every artist to be this beatific sad rat, concocting solvent, soothing their hind legs, and stripping it all off to soak in order to avoid the sting that comes after the slap. The marks were comfortably hidden from this position, all except one. 14 years old, she got her first tattoo, a frowning face over her left wrist. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaleem. Our first performers. Amirtha Kandabi is a vocalist and composer invested in the creation and performance of anti-hegemonic music, from free improvisation and avant jazz to Indian devotional experimental bands, noise, and new music, informed by her work as an educator, activist, and organizer. Angels and Demons is a collaboration with Darius Jones on alto sax in musical adaptations of poetry by iconic musician and writer Sun Ra, formed to honor his intellectual, literary, and spiritual contribution as a philosopher and teacher. The duo's music dances between the prophetic, poetic verse, abstract phonemes and syllables, sound, noise, tone, melody, and rhythmic interplay of Ra's written word. Please welcome Angels and Demons.
Good evening, everyone. Just give us a moment to sort of get situated, but in this moment, while we do that, I just want to say a word that maybe could be a benediction for us as we move into this new year from Sun Ra. Sun Ra said, The possible has been tried and failed. Now it's time to try the impossible. So that's Sun Ra. So let's carry that into 2024, onward to collective liberation. And this poem, we've never performed this far apart. This poem is called The End by Sun Ra. And so the world comes to its end, 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 and so the world comes to its end. But what is the end? 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 What is the end? The end is what they desire. 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 The end is what they Every desire is an end. And every end is a The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. The end of the world is a desire of the world. What type of end do you desire? Thank you. Darius Jones. Thank you to Poetry Project. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much to Amirtha and Darius. Next, we have Fred Moten. Fred Moten lives and works in New York. Please welcome Fred Moten.
Thank you. Studio. If we can wait in space, then all of y'all can sit and study with Thad and Jeff and Anne's enchantment and open terminal, where genres new to generation undertones for miles and miles and miles of track, an errant cave and fertile quadrant. Spirits fleshy overturning of ground and soul train lines spread out all over Herd and Kiln, on Q, at CUNY, on the Hill, all out in Homewood. Tommy Turrentine and Tiny Irvin tuning in the sonoluminescence of Rocio's free flamenco. In the break like King and his boy Pops, in praise of mutual approach of none and none, in castanetic fall and waterfall, and call to prayer and fall from grace, in graze and shout, an alto Carolinian twist in the cutout quick of all but still in all this continually cryptographic solving, grasping singing straws but nothing in your hand but those disappearing scars. Not even these, not ever yours, no method, a habit, but broke off in surprise, or foresight held in memory, her broken mama, enchanted, encantada, I am sung, or I am deep sung, or you make me sing, or you put a spell on me, or I put a spell on you because you're mine, or I'm yours, and I'm practically leaning in aggressive calm, and Salida Electrica, and step away and push it strong and half turn, turning back to stomp and snap, and every movement in withdrawal, in being held away and offering, torqued and forwarding every flex in veer, so I am pulled and pulled away as a curving series of broken circles, broken with clicks and clicks of brush and rub and rasp, and all but unmade tap and blow turn kiss or crest. And I know now that brown silk crest Cecilia wore is a caress of silk, a morbidente di tocco into touch and then touche, an all but impalpable hit or hint of text on skin so that clothes are just wearing, or imperceptible wearing down or wearing out, or writing, or in other words, translation, or transference, or transversal, or transmission, as in an open set of open unsaid words, as Soledad walks silent, broken circles, exercising, hesitating, speaking, crossing, moving deep in weighted space, and then some canter.
And our next performer, and thank you to this artist for hosting the previous hour, Morgan Bassicus. Morgan Bassicus is the co-editor with Rachel Valinsky and Jay Saper of the anti-Zionist anthology, Questions to Ask Before Your Bat Mitzvah from Wendy's Subway.
I'm gonna say, this is the year you say that Palestine frees us. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year you say that we end all U.S. military funding to Israel. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year you're going to say that we make Leslie Feinberg proud. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year you're going to say that we make Douglas Crimp proud. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year you're going to say that we seek approval only from the father figure within. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year and you're going to say I stop apologizing for my scalp issues. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year you're going to say that I stop gossiping about my digestive system. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year and you're going to say that I pick a gender. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year that I'm going to say this is the year you're going to say that we stop demonizing people with disorganized attachment styles. This is the year. That's right, this is the year. That's right, I'm going to say this is the year you're going to say that I monetize something. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year you're going to say that Palestine frees us. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year that we lift the siege. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year you're going to say that we end the occupation. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year you're going to say that we divest from Zionism. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year and you're going to say that we don't abandon each other. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. I'm going to say this is the year you're going to say from the river to the sea. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year. Thank you.
Thank you to Morgan and to everyone in this room. And thank you to our next performer, Cecilia Vicuña. Poet, artist, filmmaker, and activist of the precarios.
I dreamt language was leaving us. Because our humanness is leaving God Come on. Go. Son. Extermination. Extermination is taking place. Taking place. Humanness, humanness, living this earth. This earth. The heart of hurt. The heart of earth is hurt.
Thank you, Cecilia. Our next reader is Kim Rosenfield. Kim Rosenfield's latest book, Phantom Captain, won the Fence Book Ottoline Prize in 2023 and was recently released this past Halloween to the Veils Thinning. This is Kim Rosenfield.
It is an absolute dream to be here, and where else can we all have a space like this, to be together like this, under so many disparate guises? So please open your wallets, your hearts, your minds to the Poetry Project, really. And please, can we please have a round of applause for everybody who has made this possible? For 50 years. What space is kept like this for 50 years that keeps us open? Where do we have these spaces anymore? So I'm just very grateful to be here and be part of this. And I'm going to read a very deep, dark poem. My soul is feeling its hate, wrapped in a bobbin, spun into dreams of drowning dogs in sand or clay. Tithed to the earth, you and the earth, ending slowly, like the stench of fish, something public and primal. Exclusive, aborted specter, interpreter of the drained lagoon, holding authority over even pencil scratches etched on stone. Critical, righteous, possibility, scatters relevance like so many corpses, continuous study of numbers up and numbers down. Sober questions inside concrete encasements, neither problem nor influence, terminate our ire. principally conscious pundits, create constitutions, reduce language to indecency of emotions, in no certain global order that no longer permits them. Is there sufficient distance for contemplation of experience at a proportion with violence, torture, and war? Violence insists objects split open scenes of here and at home, kneel on knees, drop to dogs, gassed from too much data mining. Violence strips violence to true judgment of interdependence and peace, morphs lucidity into grotesque, independent truths for all who participate. Bodies surrender their muses. Turbines serrate our humilities. Time molds no body's magistrate. No one coronates time. On behalf of the frail rights of the world, we do not consent to fiscal upbringings, payments made in our supposed honor that only retire all our horizons. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. And I just want to remark on what an unbelievable crowd and room this is tonight, and how truly, sincerely, deeply amazed I am that for 50 years, thousands of people have been coming out on the first day of the year to sit shoulder to shoulder on the ground and listen to hours of poetry. Thank you to all of you. And a reminder that you can support this work at poetryproject.org/give2024. Our next performer, I don't have your bio, but I utterly adore you, Leah Hennessy.
So it's an honor after all of the memorial services and dance parties and poetry readings in here. It's very weird to be on this side. And I just want to say that if you're sitting out there and you're feeling really bad, like lines of pain that you're not performing this year, just wait around and don't be proactive, and just wait for someone to add you at the last minute. And it might take like 20 years, but just keep waiting around and keep feeling bad. Baba Yaga, Baba Yaga with the chicken feet. Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga with the chicken feet. Come into the woods. Come into the woods. Come follow my feet. He said we would never be apart. He said he had given me the art, and now I'll never go home again. Walking in the sand, walking in the sand, Baba Yaga. He said we would never be apart. He said he had given me the art, and now I'll never. Now I'll never go home again. Walking in the sand, walking in the sand, Baba Yaga. He said we would never be apart. He said he had given me the art, and now I'll never go home again. Baba Yaga. With the combination chicken feed. 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 Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga.
Thank you, Leah. Leah Hennessy. Our next performer is someone I personally want to thank for her friendship and her work, Patricia Spears-Jones. Need my mic. Is author of 5 collections, most recently The Beloved Community, and she's the current New York State Poet, aka Poet Laureate.
Wow, this is like magnificent. And if everybody in this room gave another $10, that 50,000 would be 100,000. Well, maybe not, but you know, you never can tell. Anyway, I am just amazed that, I mean, I was here as the program coordinator between 1984 and 86, and we struggled mightily to keep this place open. And Eileen Miles and I actually hosted the whole evening by ourselves. We did not have guest hostess. It was like, okay, who has drank the most caffeine today? but it's still around. And I was here for the 1975 iteration, so I've been coming a long ass time. But I was young and cute, so it was all right. I didn't get to be a pop tart like almost like Penny Arcade did, but you know, it would have been nice if I had been well, maybe not. All right, so I'm reading poems because, you know, that's what I do. If I could sing really well, you'd hear that, but, well, I'm saving you and your ears from the singing. All right, I'm going to read 3 poems. One was commissioned by Arden Wall, who was the co-chair of the gala that I was honored for here at the Poetry Project. And she asked me and Kyle and a whole bunch of other poets to write in response to an exhibition. And I wrote about Jack Pearson. Now, if people don't know who Jack Pearson is, he's an amazing artist. He's a queer artist. He's been around for a gazillion years. And he uses old wooden and metal advertising letters. And one of his pieces is called Cry. And so this is called The Right Way to Cry. I think it's my homage to suburban boys. I think that's what it is. I don't know. Whatever. I have an interesting, bizarre imagination. Anyway, The Right Way to Cry, a Jack Pearson riff. Moon River, Audrey Hepburn somewhere sings, "The window open, the New York skyline hovers as George Peppard leans away from the goddess, using her own voice. Amazed, amused, the cinematic magic whiffs, but aren't there tears? What to do with the placidity of moonlit drives, head full of notions of lust, love, the perfect chin, Hollywood handsome, Hollywood beautiful, not a wrinkle in sight, not real, as the placards proclaim, good health, more wealth, the right way to cry. Tears are the hidden rivers. Face turns from the family argument, heads point west or point east, or desolation carries feet north. Hear the child beating a pillow, beating his bed frame, hitting his mother, bearing his shame, stumbling in the school parking lot, waiting for a police cruiser to pick him up, then smash his chubby body against the wall. Here's the ordinary mythos, the boy, the mother, the argument, love. Who can tender this grim American mythos? Hollywood? In the story, the gigolo owns up to his hard work, a proper manifestation of work-life balance, while the party girl wears her pearls until her guy's lips revealing the steely spine of a true survivor. While that hidden river welcomes the moon's full face, and cinematic goddesses choreograph that dance with the chance that something new could erupt, volcanic soul search. How tantalizing to think of hope when tears create oceans, as in dreams, that dare the dreamer to jump into the New York skyline, feet first. The skyline spiky, twinkling. Isn't it night here? But morning in the desert is when the children can play by the pool until the sun winds amplifies the beige ground, the green shrub, a desolation row of suburban houses. Tears smatter hypoallergic pillows, no germs allowed, no skyline, just lads naked around the pool, friendly to each other, but secretive. What tears them apart is a dream of perfect freedom. They've yet to find that work-life balance. They have no jobs. In the story, a man braces for a fall in the New York skyline, floating in dream space, hands open in the thick dream air. The whale from the street below poses another strategy of hearing, how this might be the perfect way to jump. And all right, so this was written today, and this is very intergenerational in the sense that, you know, some of the quotes are from things that happened like in the 70s and the 40s, but, you know, in terms of music. But you'll get it. All right, so I'm a big Sam Kim fan. Sam Kim is a Korean-American singer-songwriter, and he has this incredible song called Love Me Like That, which I love, I love, I love. You like him? All right. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I have another fangirl. All right, so, and so I've been writing a variation on this particular song for like over a year, and this morning I finally wrote something that was worth reading in front of thousands of people at the Poetry Project at St. Mark's Church. Okay. January 1, 2024, variation on Sam Kim's Love Me Like That. Won't you love me like, won't you love me like, won't you love me like that? Okay. That was that's as much singing as you're going to hear from me. Okay. Lacking the call to love, a loss in the capacity for well-worn transactions, benefits bought with soul, a Faustian bargain. You'd think that such conditions need not apply to this 21st century world, but apply they do for these yearnings. But then the singer refuses to ask, is there a soul? As he whispers, I'm fragile. And this world plummets into chaos. Each missile blasting traps souls in smoke and madness. Sadness marches across polished floors as men send others out to crash cities into rubble, all in the name of gods they have little faith in. How love buoys up out of this horror is but one of the many ways humans continue. How love makes for embracing when so many can you love me like that? Or the singer commands, R-E-S and C-C, that's what you mean to me. Or the singer knows that God bless the child who has his own. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Patricia. Our next reader is Ted Dodson. Ted Dodson is the author of An Orange from Pioneer Works and Wonder in 2021, the co-translator of Death at the Very Touch, The Cold by Jaime Sáenz from Action Books, forthcoming in 2025, and a former editor of the Poetry Project newsletter. Welcome, Ted Dodson.
Hello, everybody. I am not going to go sit back down after this, so whoever wants to can take my seat. From poem beginning with a phrase from Robert Gluck on the occasion of my 37th birthday. What are you thinking now? I'm thinking that a poem could go on forever too, which is to say that a poem does not need the poet. Transmissions issue regardless of its receiver, whether there's many at all, who's to say? Maybe it's a feature, not a bug, that it's all on its way to being said, having only time between this and another arrangement of things. Or perhaps time is a poor container for the in-between, though it may have been the only word we have for nothing at all. Empty light bends around the veranda, if that's what we're calling it now. Poetry isn't nothing, but that is what it does, as noble as a hole in space. I'm 38, and it's my birthday again, June 26th, same as Brandon and Ariana Grande. And I'm thinking that this poem even, could go on forever. But this development isn't an amassing to the end of a list. Marvelous appearances, delays, enunciations, and oops, I forgot the coffee beans again. or forever underwritten by its own sustaining of some idea other than itself. The poem undoes and reworks at any variety of points, sick with continuity, but cooling out, awash like a thought occurs to a thought, puts a hole in space. Working on nothing, the minutes and hours and days and years and centuries and millennia pass without sound or making their own friction. They are not the break against the wheel or the diminishing bed of rocks over which water passes in increasing volume. Light bends around a hole in space, and Edel Adnan is open on my desk. I have this tranquil belief that we're going nowhere. There is here, always here. The poem does nothing, which is to say the poem makes time and duly does this task in lieu of me. But here it is, all the same, where possibility repairs to be rid of its purpose. The clouds rid themselves of their silver after rain, then the sky of its clouds, then our veneration of its sky, then us of our veneration of the common things we've situated our symbolism within, the stately rose and gregarious lilac, loathsome facades and sinking towers, costumes, regalia, and institutions, a clear view of the firmament, the same scene when stepping out of a tree line or when the forest is cut down completely, rushed away in a single swell, but that is a different sort of clearing, an amassing momentum that requires us as its engine and does far too much of everything. Starting over, then, inspires a divinity derogatory, acculturated from rawness, the rapturous notion to begin again and be unburdened of the mislabeled technologies binding oneself to accumulation, the moments on moments counted as if stacking glasses in a cupboard, and lessons on lessons that don't indicate a different course or demonstrate what we say is passing us by and going us so fast is in fact radiating from within itself, blood on blood, pumping without muscle to compel it, coursing altogether differently. Narratively, tension requires opposition that the beat houses downbeat, but veering into structure is that tranquil belief that passes all understanding and keeps the windows open. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Ted. Our next performer asks to be introduced without bio, and I'm very happy to oblige. This is Malcolm X. Betts.
here I'm thinking, where's the ceasefire for niggers when, you know Karens are terrorists? Where's the ceasefire for niggers? Because you know Karens are terrorists. Free the niggas, free the niggas, free my niggas, maybe free Young Doug, and you know, where the hood niggas at? 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 Woo, where the hood niggas at? Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, that person is gonna read from the phone. Yeah, they said this was a poetry event, but I'm not a poet. I'm not good at this. I'm terrible. The English language. I'm not good at code switching. I'm not good at poetry. Who needs language? Or this thing where I just want to make you laugh, maybe. Can you laugh? Yeah, okay. 2023 was a mess, but we're here now. So, yeah, give it up or whatever. Or not, or there's still a lot of other artists to go, so you might forget about this performance anyway. But, yeah, maybe if I don't see you again, maybe you can remember this. Can you remember that I once killed myself, but I stand in front of you? Social death is confusing. You low-key live for the embarrassment, but we don't like to party here. Please just remember me. When you run out of things to say, pull down your pants and say, remember, I ran out of underwear and I ran out of paper, so I used my phone and I wanted you to digitally love me. Let's fuck over Snapchat, chat with a stranger on the internet. Side note, edging for 45 minutes will have you shooting loads across the room. Keep your chin up and make sure you look at me because I see heaven in your eyes. Can I be your witness? Are you ready to submit to me? This is the proper way to present yourself to me. Spread open. Are you looking into my soul? It's always better when you clean up the mess yourself. But I like to volunteer to lick the cum off your asshole. I'm not that good at this, and maybe that's the thing. You don't prepare much. You don't overthink. You don't panic or hold your breath, because love is an action. But I just want to fuck you tonight. Question mark. Now you're just somebody in the distance on the dance floor. We no longer speak while waiting, while we gaze at each other from across the room. Yes, I'm hurt. You never messaged me back. Way to fuck my ego. There's no preparation when you grab someone by the neck to tell them cute black boys deserve whatever they want. So I'm yours, I'm here for you, and I just want to be your good boy. Will you believe me? Is it really intimacy if we are both in the middle of a sex party and the room is the equivalent to reading poetry in this room because you're not a poet, and then you keep trying to remind yourself not to overshare, and the emergency rooms are never safe for the unstable. It's only four walls closing in while the nurse asks you, are you going to harm yourself? And I reply, yes, bitch. I'm black, gay, American, and only have $5.12 in my bank account. My boyfriend broke up with me because I let a homeless nigga in LA smash, and I'm a little sad right now. There's a desperation. I wanted to do anything to get him back, but I'm single, and the only thought that's going through my mind is I wanted someone to pound me out, and I never need poppers. I don't need poppers. I can take the pain. I can take the pain if I don't think about it. And don't embarrass yourself. Don't give away your heart too easily. Just tell yourself you're normal.
Thank you, Malcolm. Our next performer is Cecilia Gentili. Cecilia Gentili is the award-winning author of Faltas, actress on FX's hit series Pose, which filmed here, and renowned activist for transgender and sex worker rights. Most recently, her one-woman show Red Ink had its off-Broadway debut to sold-out crowds. This is Cecilia Gentili. Cecilia?
Hi, sorry, I was a little bit, I had to use the restroom. Yes, I have to pay a lot of attention to my urinary, schedule, because, yes, I'm 51, and, I go a lot, and, it is, I said that I'm 51, and nobody was surprised. What's going on? People can never believe it. I know. So, but I'm always scared. I'm always scared because I've been having UTIs. I've been having UTIs. First, I thought it was an STI, and I'm trying to, I'm trying to adapt to the American way. So I freaked out about things, right? I started freaking out. It's an STI. It's an STI. Like I never had one before. But then I realized that it was a UTI. Somebody explained to me what a UTI was, and I was like, is that like an STI? No, it's not an STI, but it's a UTI. Anyway, regardless, let's go to the doctor because it hurts like a motherfucker. Me and my partner went to a hospital. I'm not gonna say what hospital because I don't wanna trash anybody, but it's on Wyckoff Avenue. We get to the hospital at 2 a.m. and I am peeing and hurting and peeing and hurting, and while I pee and hurt, I complete my whole intake form. Cecilia Gentili, January 31st, 1972, Hispanic. Again, January 31st, 1972. I know. Hispanic. Go and see the triage nurse. I go and see the triage nurse, and the triage nurse look at my intake form. All my papers, I changed to female. So she looks at all my papers and she says, you didn't complete here. You didn't complete this question about when was the last time that you had your period. I don't have a period. I know you don't have your period right now, but when you had it, when was it? No, I don't have a period. And she said, oh, 49. You don't have a period anymore, but when you had it before, when was the last time? Just give me the year, approximately. And I was like, no, I don't have periods, period. And she's like, oh, Hispanic. Tu periodo. El último periodo. Tu último periodo. I'm like, bitch, we've been talking for 20 minutes in English and you didn't have a problem. What makes you think that I don't understand you? So then she started running out of options and she started using her body to explain. So she said, let me know when was the last time you bled. The last time you bled. When was the last time you Blah. And I have to pee, and I'm in pain, and I have to pee, and I'm in pain, and I look at her, and I says, sorry, I get it now. It was last week. See, it was so easy. Why didn't you respond when I asked you first? Sorry, it was last week. Last week, I was shaving my balls, I cut one of them, and it bled like a motherfucker. I just want to say that I have all the love for nurses and medical providers. This woman was most likely underpaid and overworked, went to a school that didn't teach you that some women have balls and penises and don't have vaginas and don't have periods, and works in a place that didn't offer her any training. So all my love to medical providers. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecilia. Performers left in this hour and a little bit more time to hit our $50,000 goal. So please go to poetryproject.org/give2024. Our next performer is Cutwolf Eileen Miles with Ryan Sawyer and Steve Gunn. Cutwolf will be in Texas writing quietly. This is Cutwolf Eileen Miles with Ryan Sawyer and Steve Gunn.
I know. People always discover I'm short. So, I feel like I'm just, this is so great. I feel like we must really need this. I mean, really? Is there no other reason why we're here? It's crazy. So reading this year, reading on New Year's Day is always a big thing, and it's always like, oh my God, what am I going to read and stuff. And I have some very, perfectly good new poems. But I just thought about repurposing an older poem because, I wrote this poem during the pandemic. I mean, I feel like if you I don't want to presume too much, but if you know my work at all, you probably know this poem. But anyhow, during the pandemic, I wrote it, and it was a love poem, and it was because the person I was involved with was far away from me, and so I was wanting to use a poem like a device, like to bring people closer, and so that was the intention of the poem. So I wrote this kind of goofy love poem that put us together in this way, and the poem has had a great, successful life, but the relationship completely fizzled, so the poem didn't do its proper job. So it occurred to me that when I was thinking about what to do tonight, that I should bring that poem out for a new purpose. And of course, as this is such a hellish moment in time and in history, and I'm somebody who's been protesting and posting shit about the war and Palestine and thinking about taxes too. Like, we got to figure out how to not pay all our taxes, right? But meanwhile, I just thought I should take the love poem that I gave to my then girlfriend and give it to Palestine. So it kind of means something different, and then I had to scribble on it, because it's sort of like, at certain points, it's not exactly that art is secondary, but you can make art kind of smush down in service of a message. So I've changed some of the words. So the poem's called Put My House. Oh, and when I end the poem, the last word in the poem, I would really, I mean, this has been asked of you guys a lot tonight. I've seen it happen. But if you would join me in the last word, and I'll let you know, and I'll goad you hard, and so you'll know. And it would be really great if we could end the poem in the experience, perhaps, with this word concatenating in the room. Okay, so it's called Put My House, and it's to Palestine. Loving. This is a love-in, period. This is a love-in, I think. So, sharing the love, extending the love. Put my house inside the boat. Can we do that? Put my dog inside of your dog. Put these birds inside of yours. Put my ocean. Put your ocean all over my mountains. Put my mountains in there. Put my dog in yours. My dog walk is safe inside your dog walk. Let me bleed inside you. Let me be your food. Let me eat your house. Put your house inside my dog. Put your dog on my boat. Naturalize. Put my heart in yours. Put my mouth on your mouth. Put my hair in yours. Let me breathe inside you. Let me smell your guts. Put your boat in my eye. Why don't you eat my friends? Put these hours inside your hours. Eat this bird, cheap. Eat my dog's foot. Eat that ocean. Run to them, or the ocean. Run to them. Hear these birds cheep. Fly to me. Eat my foot. Put my house inside yours. In your mind, think me fly. This fly me home. Love me now. Forget your phone. Eat my heart. Run to them, or the ocean. Run to them, or the ocean. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Dog growl. Cluck. Click. Put my house right in there. Yeah, that's me looking out the window. Look at me. Bark, bark, bark. Put your heart inside that bark. Bark, 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 bark for Palestine. Bark, 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 bark,
Our penultimate reader of this hour is Pamela Sneed. Pamela Sneed is the author of Funeral Diva, out from City Lights in 2020, and is performing her tribute to Big Mama Thornton at Joe's Pub on March 1st and 2nd. Get your tickets because they're running out. This is Pamela Sneed.
For their service at the Poetry Project, for all that they've done for us. I'm going to miss you so much. And we're going to talk about Barbie. I'm starting to take the success of the Barbie movie personally, and not in a good way. Let us not forget it was all the real-life white Barbies who voted for Trump, helping to sway the country's pendulum to the far right. It's also interesting how another feminist movie by a woman of color director almost went down in a flame of controversy, while a movie by a white woman director is catapulted to the top. I hope Greta Gerwig takes the Woman King sisterhood with her as she breaks box office records. And let's face it, life is too easy on Barbie Come to Life. What if she had an awakening like the white character in The Last King of Scotland, and she got to recognize, got a view into what's really going on here, all the abuses of human rights? What if she toured the shop in California where a white woman was murdered over her display of a rainbow flag, or saw the gas station in New York where O'Shea, a young black gay man, was killed for voguing to a Beyonce song? Or met a 13-year-old girl in Mississippi who was raped and denied abortion as she started 7th grade? What if Barbie were taken to every Skid Row homeless shelter in America and saw where unwanted people were dumped? What if her relatives were caught up in and drowned by a buoy on the Texas border trying to keep migrants out? What if she lost everything to AIDS, COVID? What if her breasts were removed and she had to start a GoFundMe to cover medical costs? I will say I did think the beginning of Barbie was clever. Brilliant. But it doesn't go very far. It's poignant when they show the ties around her wrists. Barbie's been a slave too, but it doesn't tie to any other feminisms. Even though there's people of color, white Barbie is still the bar for all other feminisms. America Ferrera is still a maid, rescuing her, applying Barbie's makeup, assuring real-world Barbie, who cries a lot, that she's still pretty. It's only by staying in their place Barbie is allowed to center her existential crisis. In an end that undermines the whole movie, Barbie apologizes to Ken, says maybe she had too many girl parties, but she should apologize to America Ferrera and Issa Rae, while she at times willfully slept in a life of privilege and endless parties in the Malibu dream house, her sisters of color were out on the front lines doing the work, fighting the war. And Barbie acts as if Barbies of every class and race are all equal, but they are not. Just like in The Handmaid's Tale adopts the language of black history and struggle, they don't acknowledge how long after a white Barbie it took to get a black Barbie. How it took years of civil rights and the disappointment of little black girls and boys, years of kids of color compare and despair, being measured against white Barbie's beauty standards. And I'm not even going to discuss queer issues when America's character tells gay Alan to shut up. So there's a hierarchy and he's on the bottom. It's still hard for me to believe that we have gone from an uprising around George Floyd to a worldwide embrace of white Barbie. But I imagine it's something to do with the COVID pandemic, the difficult days needing relief, or maybe it's like in a war, when they used to send over blonde bombshell types to distract troops. Maybe Barbie is a distraction. Anywho, Barbie's awakening in 2023 is too late or long overdue. We needed her on the front lines of the bra-burning 70s to protest coat hanger abortions, to fight for civil rights, trans rights, gay rights. As a protester for Sandra Bland, Nakia Bryant, we need her right now for Gaza and for Palestine. We need Barbie now.
Pamela Sneed. Before I introduce our last reader, an important update. We did not raise $50,000 in this hour. We raised just over $70,000. And remember that we have books and food for sale in the back room, and all of that is a part of this fundraising effort too, so please avail yourself of this entire church. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our last reader, Kaleem Hawa. Kaleem Hawa is a Palestinian writer and organizer.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to the Poetry Project staff and to Kyle for putting on this evening. I'm really glad and honored to be here. This first poem is called Maintenance. Perched atop a container for the management of surplus, you would be granted a particular vantage. A commons would stretch out before your witness, mass graves and women squatting over dirt. Were you to dissemble it into its constituent parts, you would confront bemused looks, an unknown family putting another up for the night, their Zoom account, their lessons and curricula, and all the words to teach manners and niceties and storytelling. If you were to destroy the receptacle, If you were to raise every little box, tear up the grass, streets teeming new valences of bravery and confusion met by might and sound, a new containment would no doubt be proposed for the neat demarcation of the safe and the desired upon. In Ashati, there are squares for the maintenance of the sun. There are little fires burning, fed by small branches and ripped cardboard used to brew tea and coffee and cook tomatoes. There is wind from the sea, little sheds in the sand. There are faded signs of the international nonprofits, themselves comprising a faction in this great drama, for the declaration of a suspended time, for the declaration of the production line. Most staff have long since packed up, save for the enlistees, snapped and folded into the regulatory matrix and then returned to the camp. Their flip-flops point leftward when they walk. Their base is the provision of goods and services, and their tips are the sweat of men. You hang them from their hands and feet, light their genitals on fire. You give their words after a particular weight, and you do not ask the hangman for his postulates. These images of agony are romantic, but not perfect. The image of subjugation is perfect. In a fallen world, the soul returns to the birthing canal, flocking to amniotic rubrics for dissemination and release. To the suffering, there emerges an incantation to summon the costume rack and the jacket closet, a warm place to hide among the feathers and the furs and the sequins, and to banish the fear. These places can break and be broken, and so too you who cannot know the billowy place, the soft clothes, you who will try to lessen the horror of perfect images. In the same classrooms that teach Gaza, they teach alphabets and numeracies, and the teacher sways from the rafter, strung up by some leftover cloth. From her vantage, an occluded scene of a woman emerging from a jail cell, embracing her husband, almost tripping on herself in joy. Later, she is draped in a Hamas flag. Soon she will be swallowed by the evening, silhouetted by bestial nothing and away from the cameras. From her vantage, a vision for the great reconstruction. Streets will be widened, throats will be widened, the lot will rule the day, new docks will stretch out and out until they tickle the underside of the frigate and the rig. After she is gone, you appear before a square, which today takes the shape of a big box. Covered in blue fabric, its velveteen waves and little white fairy lights shimmer in the smog. Approaching it, you see the tangled wiring, the faded spots, brighter when considered against the grain, like a Persian rug, but thinner, quite ugly up close, tall and imposing. Too high to climb comfortably, but perhaps you could jump. Dig your fingertips into its edges and scramble up, kicking your feet and feeling the warmth of the bulbs on your forearms. Thank you. Okay, the second and last poem I'm going to read is called Transition, and it's written after Jack Spicer. It was very important to me. She ran the bath, a deep basin at her mother's house. Soon her body was submerged in hot water. She stopped the tap, got on her hands and knees. She stared at her face in the reflection of the brass, taking in cheeks, hairline, a nose. Squeezing shampoo into her hands and then into her hair, she lathered, ran her fingers through it all, and then dunked her head under the water. Submerged, she considered all that she had lost. She made a tally, a formal list, check marks and scratches. She focused all her rage into a furious burst of air, gargling bathwater, bubbles collected with energies. When she emerged, she looked at all the suds and islands, the rainbow-colored eddies, the dirtier streaks, little pieces of hair and filth in her pool. And again, she ran her fingers across her scalp. The strands parted as if along neat lines. She let the droplets drop off of her face. Time passed like that, her active pose undisturbed. She must have looked so strange, sopping wet and frozen in thought. She noticed the burns on her thighs. She felt like a witch as herself. She considered every artist to be this beatific sad rat, concocting solvent, soothing their hind legs, and stripping it all off to soak in order to avoid the sting that comes after the slap. The marks were comfortably hidden from this position, all except one. 14 years old, she got her first tattoo, a frowning face over her left wrist. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaleem. These are my last remarks that I get to share with you as executive director of the Poetry Project. And so what I want to say is that this project is an anti-war, anti-imperial, anti-occupation, anti-apartheid, anti-genocide project. And today and tomorrow and the next day it is an anti-Zionist project. We are a poetry project, and the poetry that happens here continues to dare to articulate the unfathomable liberatory horizon. We imagine the edge here, we risk going there, we call to one another, and we find one another there. Akilah Oliver writes, "Freedom is more than just some people talking. It's more than just some people talking that happens here. It's more than writing, it's more than language. It's a vision of poetry that enlarges and emboldens the ways that we live with one another. It's the work that we do with one another, the risks that we take, the material changes we devote ourselves to. We bring the whole breadth of our lives here. And that means that we come to one another in our whole range of love and passion and idiosyncrasy and grief and pain and struggle, and I honor all of it. All of it has been an honor for me, even or especially what has felt difficult or unfinished or fractious, because I know that change happens through the kinds of person-to-person contact over time that we are devoted to. And I know that something truly transformative radiates from the deep work that we are doing of staying with one another. And I'm grateful and proud of much of the work that has happened here, but I will say that I'm especially proud, among all of this different work I've been a part of, that in this last act, for me, we have responded to a 2005 call from Palestinian civil society and committed this organization to the Palestinian campaign for the academic and cultural boycott of Israel. This crisis of occupation, apartheid, and genocide in Palestine materially touches every person in this room and on this earth, and its end will require the solidarity of all of us. And that is not hyperbolic or metaphorical. It's a circumstance of the poisonous ongoing legacies of interconnected colonization and imperialism. And so we look to other global struggles throughout history for frameworks of what can be done. This campaign for cultural boycott is carefully modeled on the South African anti-apartheid movement, which the project was also involved in. It lays out a vision for growing unified, non-violent solidarity that will isolate the perpetrating cultural structures of apartheid and genocide and ultimately diminish and anti-normalize their influence. I truly believe that we are in a moment of serious substantive cultural transformation, and that we all have work to do as poets, artists, culture workers, people in artistic community with one another. We have work to do this year. I hope that we push ourselves to imagine what we can undo and reconstitute together for liberation, true and total liberation. Thank you. I love you. Support this work. Free Palestine.